Yo, what it do, man? What's good, fellas? What's good, everyone, man? Welcome back to the show, man.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Yo, got to get the audio straight, man. But what's good, T Money, man? What's good with you, bro?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, brother. Good, brother. Tell the folks what you got going on with your everyday predictions. What's that about, man? What you got going on your channel, bro?
So pretty much just as a goal, to try to hit 1,000 subs on YouTube every day. I'm gonna do a different prediction NFL wise. So far I did Jalen Waddle and Tariq Hill will combine for 1,300 yards. I did
Okay.
the Patriots are gonna finish last in the AFC, and then the last one I did was the Bucks are gonna be last in the NFC South.
Right. I saw that one today. Right. Are these? Is this something that you're gonna look to go back on and pull these out? As the season end, like what's the?
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
that
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
reach 1,000 subs, but it's gonna be out there for people to go back and look at. So
Oh
pretty
yeah,
sure of that.
I'm definitely that type. For anybody who knows, my brand or tunes into my channel. I mean, me and RTP and had a whole rehash show last year where we went over our division winners prediction show and all that. So yeah, anybody who knows my brand knows I stand on what I say. I don't just throw it out there.
All right, respect that, bro. You've been around for years, so I already know you stand on what you're saying. So let me introduce for Mr. Country Kev, bro. Let us know some about you. Let everybody know what you got going on as well. Uh-oh. Can we get the audio straight? All right.
You look
All
like you're
right.
trying to figure it out.
All right, while I get the audio straight, man. Yeah, man, trying to bring the show together just to talk about some NFC South stuff. So we do got multiple NFC South circles going on, right? So you probably was like, what's the point of another NFC South show? My perspective is, it's just networking opportunity, right? So the more, chances that we get to put each other out there on our own platforms, it's just more visibility and, chance for us to be able to gather subs, share subs, etc. So I think it's a good, I think it's good that we have these different circles, especially in the NFC South. I like the networking opportunity, man.
I definitely agree, and I think so. I feel like we all bring our own thing to the table.
Right.
So I mean, some guys are going to be a little bit more informational. Some guys are going to be more, analytical. If
Mhm.
you putting me and Sean Jay in a room, it's only going to be so long before we start trash talking.
Right. It's go because you're gonna have to, you're trying to get every single edge, so it'll eventually get there. Because you only can talk so much with statistics and stuff like that. So it eventually go to, trying to one up somebody. So yep, that's how it
Definitely,
goes.
definitely. So I feel like it's a different. Everybody brings their own element. I
Right.
like everybody's spaces, everybody's different channels and stuff, but everybody has their own thing.
Right. Right. And I like the what things are evolving into because we've been in this, for over a decade, right? Making videos about our football team on YouTube. Like we used to say back in the day, camming up, right?
Yeah,
Camming up used to be a thing, right? You used to have a lot of people just in the comments scared to put face behind what they're saying, right? So we've been putting faces to all that we put out on the internet about our football teams. Most of the time, we're wrong because we haven't won a Super Bowl in this whole time period we've been on YouTube.
facts.
But so it's no bandwagon over here if we still, holding it down. So yeah, but let's get into some of the topics. So these are some of the things I really wanted to touch on. Uh, our QBs in the division, right? I want to touch on our rookies, right? The rookie mini camps that just went down. Majority of the mini camps went down this weekend. So
Hmm.
touch on the mini camps, and then we're going to touch on the QBs, right? So QB wise, right? Just to start, since you're here, you're a guest, bro. Let me be gracious to my guests. We're gonna start with Bryce Young. So, Bryce Young, this is my question for you guys. Like, is Bryce Young looking even smaller next to NFL size players? Like, you laughed, bro, but this is a legit question for me, right? This is a legit question that I have to say, you know, you see him next to actual NFL, it's shocking. It's shocking, right?
It's
So
exaggerated.
so no, how is it? Is it do you think it's we're gonna see him coming up here, right? So this is the play here that went viral, everyone. So
Mhm.
this is the play that everybody saw, right? I paused it at the most inopportune time right here. Just looking at it on the screen, it looks like um, you know, somebody's high school or middle school little son out there that grabbed the helmet and went back and took a snap. Right. But though that goes into my durability questions. I've always had durability questions for him. Do you guys, as Panther fans, feel like does it grow for you or is it subsiding for you?
I mean, to me, I feel like that was a fan. Everybody else in the NFC, well, in the NFL, fans wanted to run with. To me, it wasn't no concern. I mean, our O line is actually, if you look height wise, is actually smaller than the Alabama offensive line. So until I
Okay.
start seeing him having some Baker Mayfield type performances where every pass is getting batted down or something like that,
Right.
I'm not worried. Durability, I mean, if he gets hurt, I mean he gets hurt. But I feel like what I've been saying all offseason, he had the closest to the NFL he was gonna get as far as getting hit and speed of guys and size of guys in the SEC.
Okay. Okay. So you saying that
Yeah,
the SEC pretty much prepared him for the NFL
I mean, it's as
is
close as preparation as you're gonna get, if we're being
right.
honest.
Right.
right.
Yes.
And
Okay.
then another thing here. Sorry for the delay. It was had to switch my settings here, but
Good, good. Introduce yourself, brother. What's your name? What you got going on with your channel, your podcast. So introduce yourself to the people.
yeah, my name's Kevin Avery, but on Twitter you'll see me as 4MRs, which stands for Four Man Rush underscore Country Kev. I represent as one of the founders of the Four Man Rush podcast. Basically, we do a detailed breakdown and description of film analysis, scouting reports. We do a little bit dig. We like to go a little bit deeper and more detailed than what a lot of other content creators do because we feel like the full story needs to be told. A lot of times we kind of get skimmed over. It's just kind of a brush. The main thing that used to make me mad is when they talk about the Panthers, all they show was Cam Newton with a towel over his head, pouting, or when they're showing another team's highlights, it seemed to always have, what they did against the Panthers. So we just wanted to tell our story, good, bad, or indifferent, in a detailed way that our fans can understand why this is happening, what led up to this happening, and how we can improve. You can go to our webpage, our website, the www.the the number 4 man man rush rush.com. And then you can also follow us on Twitter as well, the 4 Man Rush, but it's spelled with the number 4 OURMAN rush.com. And we spit facts, we have fun, we get a little petty, but we main thing we just try to keep it logical.
Right.
Kev,
Hey,
Kev,
man.
Kev, 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 not being cocky enough for me.
Which,
For
I
four,
mean,
four, four,
he a
four man
guest,
rush to
bro. You
me.
don't want. You know how people get when they first get somewhere. They
Yeah,
don't want to
he
show
try to
themselves.
be humble.
So we're gonna let them slide this time. We're gonna let you
Four
slide.
man
We're gonna let you
rush
slide.
is for Panthers the better PFF is what I'm gonna say.
Okay, so they PFF with actual credibility, right?
Facts.
So less questions. Okay, okay, okay. So glad to have you on the show, brother. I'm definitely gonna tap into your into your channel, to your
Mm-hmm.
website, so I can see what you guys got going on. It looks like I love the different perspectives and the different conversations that are had within football. right? So you can have the trash talking circle, you can be analytical, or you can be, general, which people, a lot of people are in the general area, right? Less people in the analytical and actually, looking at the tape, looking at the numbers and within the numbers, right? So there's surface numbers, but then you have, actual analytics that'll tell you how a player is playing based on, against what you're seeing, right? If you want to confirm or disapprove, what you're seeing. So
yeah, be versatile enough to meet people at their comfort zone is what it comes down to.
right.
If your comfort zone is keeping it general, we can do that. If your comfort zone is the coach's all 22 film, we can do that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to talk trash and be petty, we can do that. So it's all about matching the energy that's required at that particular time.
Right. Got you, man. But to hop back into the conversation, so we were talking about Bryce, and I brought up the shock value and the the viralness of the photos that has been circulating Twitter with the photo of him next to Brian Burns, which is my FSU guy. So Brian Burns not being the biggest of guys compared, width wise, but he is tall in height. But standing next to Bryce, and then we saw Bryce, this viral video here of him taking a snap behind his offensive line. So I was asking, did that rise any of your concerns, or have you seen enough to be comfort in him growing and starting week 1?
For me personally, no, not at all. Because if you go back to that clip, you notice that he did a rollout, so he's further away. So with him already being short in stature, that particular angle where he's at the end, see he's going away from his lineman. The further you are, the smaller the distance is going to look. So I get why that particular end of it is going to look. It's depth perception. And then when you look at the guys, his lineman that was there, I mean, it's a training camp. I mean, number 61, Ricky Lee, 6'5", 289. You know what I'm saying? You had Chandler Zavala, number 62, 6'5", 325. So all these guys are 6'5" and taller already. You know what I'm saying? So you take them standing straight up, and you got Bryce Young on a rollout at 5'10", saying a good maybe 5-7 yards away from where they at. Then, like you said, with the depth perception, it's going to give that look. But like T Money already said here, he played with a slightly taller, bigger line at Alabama than what he's going to have here, at Carolina. Now, I don't want to be naive and think that his size is a non-factor. It is. But I also look at quarterbacks that have been 6'4", 6'5", 230, 240, that prototypical, they bodies and got beat the crap up. You know what I'm saying? So there really is no direct correlation as far as saying you're more likely to get hurt and injured if you're a smaller thing than that. Because if you look at the history of quarterbacks such as a similar size, like a Drew Brees who was 6 foot, like a Russell Wilson at 5'11", it's amazing how guys are want to build so many soapbox points on 1 or 2 inches here or there. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to it, not to mention, okay, how tall is he going to be on the field when he got his cleats on? You know what I'm saying? Like once everything's on. So I just think that since there was very much to dislike about him on the field wise with his performance, you have to go to the next thing. Oh, his size. And he's proved at every level. He played at an elite high school level. You know what I'm saying? He played at the cream of the crop of the SEC. Won a Heisman, put a team on his back last year that had less than stellar the normal skill positions. Still threw 32 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Came up clutch. For me, it's film over everything else. So I just think that coming to Carolina with us literally, was almost a playoff team, even though it would have been with a losing record. But the fact that we were in the mix, so we're not the typical team drafted number 1 that was like 2-15, with a trash roster. He's coming into a very good situation, an established O-line, a coaching staff that is 10 times better than the last regime that we was up under. He's got a defense that's going to get him the ball back. quite often a potential top 10 defense here. And then we got, the Avengers or coaching staffs, as we like to say in Panthers Twitter,
right.
as well, as far as, the who's who. So I just think that he came into a very favorable situation. And I just think that his size is not going to be a concern for us like it is going to be for others.
Okay.
I think it's just it's a joke kind of thing, like how everybody but Cardinal fans like to pick on Kyler until Kyler come in and ball out,
Right.
and put up numbers, but they like to do he's a kid and this that and that. Like, I think that's just part of hating in the NFL.
Right. So how do you feel about Bryce's temperament on the field? So we do know he's a great guy. He's a nice young man, right? So he's a model young man, right, at his age. But I did see a clip with an interaction with the coach, saying that he was humble, maybe too humble, and trying to, I guess, kind of question his intensity a little bit. Do you think his laid back kind of, calm demeanor, do you think that is it required out of the quarterback position for him to be a vocal leader or not? Do you think that he has to be that guy?
I mean, I think I like his demeanor. I don't want my quarterback being extremely volatile in personality and up 1 minute and down 1 minute. If anything, I want my middle linebacker like that. I want my corner like that, my safety like that, who's highly emotional. But I feel like as long as you loving the game and study the game, and you're not putting in the type of work that Bryce Young puts in, as even Nick Saban said, unless you do care about the game and you do care about winning, I think that leads to all the preparation in the world. So as far as, because he's not brash, he's not, I mean, I don't know if I want my quarterback to necessarily act like Josh Norman.
Right.
So,
or Cam, right? So Cam is like the contrast to, to Bryce, right? Cam is the contrast player to Bryce, right? Which
he's
is
also the contrast in build and everything. So it's a little bit easier to be braggadocious when you're 6'5", 240 and you running people over. I mean, you damn near a linebacker and playing quarterback. So I think your personality is going to be a little bit different. And that's draft wise. And I said this about the F-150 crowd, as I like to call them. We're going to see who really racist in our fan base, because Bryce is the complete opposite of whatever complaints you had about Cam, whether it was complaints about the hair, whether it was complaints about bragging, whether it was complaints about whatever complaints they had about Cam. The crowd that always wanted Derek Anderson to start until he got blown out by Seattle. The crowd that always wanted Kyle Allen to start. We're going to see who's for F-150 fans for real in this fan base.
Right. So it's a what is it now? What could it be now? Right.
Yeah.
So what could it be now? But we know that area traditionally. So I wouldn't expect, don't expect too much change, right? It's all about winning. Winning cures all, right? If he's winning, the insults are to a minimum. But if he's not, then we know how the internet works. There are no rules to the internet. So I hope for his sake, I hope he is successful. But for our sake, it's to a point. He can be successful to a point. Like, he's like Jalen Hurts to me. Jalen Hurts is that young guy that I look like. This young guy, he gets it. He does everything right. He says the right thing. You want to see good things happen to him. I feel the same way about Bryce. I feel the same way about CJ. All these quarterbacks that come in with all of these maybe undue or unjust questions, right? And we don't really need to get into why, but
everybody wants to get over the stigma of black quarterbacks,
right?
And then now with the success of Mahomes, now is, well, if they're half black, it's okay.
It's
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
goalposts. It's like the goalposts keep
yeah.
moving on
Right.
what is it next? And like my business partner with the 4-man rush, Monty,
Right.
he started the hashtag quarter black, what I'm saying, during this draft
Ooh,
process. And boy, the
ooh.
F-150 crowd, the Oakley Shade crowd, the Real House Husbands of Karen crowd, all of them, you know what I'm saying, were in their fields. You know what I'm saying? It's just like anytime you add the word black to it, well, why you got to mention color?
Yeah. Yeah.
First, what I'm saying, first time in history that 3 black quarterbacks were chosen in the top 5. It's something to be celebrated. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's the fact that it's a problem with us. We don't put nobody else's race down. When we celebrate ours, it seems to be an issue. But when
Right.
it's forced, when other races, are force fed on us, it's supposed to be, quote, the status quo and the norm. But when we celebrate us, oh, why y'all making it about a race thing? It's just a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I, I'm all for. I want to see all the quarterbacks, especially those 3, exceed and have great, amazing, NFL careers. You know what I'm saying? I definitely hope it. I want this to be looked back at that, like kind of like they do that class that had what was it? Jim Kelly, Marino, that type of class. When I think it was
Right.
like the class of '84 that
Yeah. That.
had like all the Hall of Famers at quarterback that came out that year. Yeah, I want the same type of energy and results with this draft class.
Got it, man. Hey, we got a lot to see from them guys. They are not only are they good talents. Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young got the right attitude, right? No, I don't see a John Morant situation happening with any of those guys. So,
Right.
so
Right.
we want to see them do good. We want to see all our young brothers do good. But yeah, let's move on, man. Yeah, anything like rookie mini camp, like was there anything outside of the quarterback that stuck out to you guys? Was there any players that you say, hey, this player made a jump, or this player looks like they're ready to be in a rotation or be a starter?
I sort of feel like that the more I see out of Jonathan Mingo.
Okay.
He definitely looks to me a little bit faster, and seeing him in video in person with us, a little bit more fluid in and out of his routes. Working with Steve Smith at rookie mini camp, I think it's always a help when you can get that one-on-one
I saw him there.
training with a future Hall of Famer. Because I'm speaking
Sure.
into existence. Smitty's gonna get in there.
And we're gonna be there
I think
when it happens.
eventually, yeah.
In Canton.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So that was one person to me. Honestly, because we have a new coaching staff, they're really not showing us that much. Because they're not going to show us anything that's giving away what they're going to do schematically. So it's not that much that we could see. But that was, besides Bryce, Jonathan Mingo was definitely somebody that I noticed.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of hard to, when you're just in jerseys and shorts, it's really hard because I'm a trench guy. So without any pads, it's really hard for me to speculate any of the, line play. I mean, hell, I can go out there and look decent against a blue dummy. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't, last
Hey,
time I
some of
strapped
these
up on some.
videos look good, man. They're shooting off in these videos. They look like some. They just came out of the cycle, the combine cycle. So they're good in shorts.
Yeah. Last thing, last time I was in pads when, I'm saying, Bill Clinton was still in office. So I mean, anybody can look good out there. But yeah, I'm an old head. I'm 43, be 44 in July. But
hey, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be an old head nowadays. Shoot,
man, who you telling? I
we
saw my
do.
first gray hair last year, and I welcomed it. That means I'm making it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But back to this though. As far as players that stuck out to me, it was a couple of them. I heard you say you an FSU guy, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So for me, Jamie Robinson, our 5th round pick, he was someone that really stuck out to me. I mean, I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but his presser after he got drafted, man, he had me hyped, wanted me to, strap up and go to play. Like,
Right.
He just kept saying, a dog will last. You know what I'm saying? He just got that dog mentality. Like he told our defense coordinator, give me a year and I'm going to be starting. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want that type of brash, confidence, in yourself. So he was someone that during this rookie minicamp really stood out to me. I like his position versatility. He could play he could play nickel, he could play either safety spot. He even got some reps at corner. So, in a pinch, knock on wood, not needed. But I just like his position flexibility during rookie minicamp, for the drills that it was. He looked real good in coverage because, it's, in our scheme, it's two types of nickels. It's your nickel, your slot nickel, and then your big nickel. So he definitely reminds me of, like he can be versatile enough to definitely play the slot. You know what I'm saying? And the other guy was one of our undrafted free agents, cornerback Rajon Wright out of Oregon State. He was someone. Yeah, 6'2", 193. Like the guys that we brought in seemed to match a lot what our defense coordinator had in Denver. You know what I'm saying? Cornerbacks with length, good hips, able to, got that twitch, in them. That seems to be, what they the type of players they wanted to fill in the roster with. So the two secondary guys are who stood out for me in rookie minicamp.
The bottom guys, Keith Taylor, Stanley Thomas Oliver. Hey, Rajon, he knocking on the door. This is the warden. He's definitely knocking on the. I think he's gonna be knocking on the door. Him, man, I could see Milton knocking on the door of getting them last corner spots. Honestly,
yeah.
Hey man, I like Rajon. Like I keep saying, I've been following Rajon since Last Chance U. Right. I think Rajon on the show, Rajon would drive like an hour and a half, 2 hours to the JUCO just to play, just to practice, just to play. So the kid loves football. So I'm excited that he made the roster. So I mean, not the roster. He's on the team, and hopefully he can make the roster. So
yeah, them two, and Cameron Peoples is probably the guys that I'm rooting for the most to make the roster as far as
that's the running back from App State, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yo, what's good? What's good, man?
What's happening, y'all? What's happening?
Introduce yourself, my brother. This is my man, Big Bucks, man.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Big Bucks. Just been following along with this channel. Y'all have some good intake. I love like how y'all discuss everything. I'm just a fan. Shout out to my boy Sean J. He put me on. Just enjoy the conversation. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Bucks fan. Bucks all day. Just enjoy the conversation.
All right. But no, we were just wrapping it up on the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young in the rookie mini camp. What the couple of players that they, heard that jumped out while in shorts, right? So anything that you see in the comments you want to hop on the Panthers before we move on?
How do y'all feel, going forward? What is your expectation? Like I know I'm late. Did you feel like any offensive line depth is going to be pretty good with you guys? Like, how do you feel with the offensive line depth? Because that seems to be like a potential weak spot going into this season if everybody's not healthy. I know y'all drafted what's the guy to
Chandler Zavala.
Yeah,
Zavala, NC State.
Yeah,
well, honestly, I think the biggest thing is seeing how long it's going to take Brady Christensen and Austin Corbett to be 100%. I know they're saying Austin Corbett might miss the beginning of the season. I think is the last I heard.
Yeah, first few games.
So Zavala might have to start day one. But when Austin Corbett comes back and Brady Christensen comes back, I'm confident in our depth. I mean, Brady Christensen has showed he can play guard and play tackle. Cameron Irving can play any kind of. He can play. I mean, I don't want him starting. But as far as backup and leadership, to Icky, that's fine. In a pinch, hey, let him play. but I don't want him starting full time. But as far as depth, I feel like we got guys. The only position I would be concerned if somebody went down is Bradley Bozeman, the center that played for us last year that we got from the Ravens. Other than that, I feel like our depth at every other spot is pretty good. I don't know, but Kev, what you think?
For me, I like, the couple of late signings that we just added, to our interior offensive line. Like you stated, Brady Christian coming back from a fractured ankle. They're saying he should be ready by start of training camp. Personally, if you're gonna play guard, you gotta have nasty in you. You gotta when you make contact, it's got to be spit and snot coming out. You know what I'm saying? And Brady, I mean, he's very athletic. Got one of the quickest releases, but for me, he's kind of light in the ass. He's more of a position shield blocker than, hey, I'm finna move you out this gap type of blocker. And I just feel like when it's 3rd and 2 and we need it, he's just not giving me enough, enough manhood for me as someone that, not only played and coached interior line, but just what I want from my team. Sometimes you got to let the defense know we about to run it, ain't a damn thing you're going to do about it. And he, for me, doesn't personify that type of ego. So for me, I think that as far as
Jordan fan.
Yeah, I'm a Michael Jordan, but I'm going to keep it real, though. I like Cade Mays, who we got from Tennessee. He played all 5 positions for them last year. So I like his flexibility. When he was getting runs at, snaps at fullback, and power short yardage situations, I kind of like that. That's a lineman's dream, line up in the backfield. But I'm going to tell you somebody that nobody's talking about that's got a relationship with Coach Campen that could be a surprise while Austin Cober's recovering, and that's Justin McCray. That's someone that, was with Coach Campen up at Green Bay in 2018.
You're
followed him down to Houston when Coach Campen was there, and now he's following him. He's a Campen guy. You know what I'm saying? So, with Zavala primarily only playing left guard at North Carolina State now at the Senior Bowl, he did, get some snaps at right guard. So I definitely think that could be a possibility as well while Austin Corbett recovers. But the thought of Zavala and Icky on the left side is what I want, because that 2021 film of North Carolina State with them two, they were going neck and neck for the most pancake bottles, and I need that in my life. You know what I'm saying? I need to see Aunt Jemima, Mrs. Butterworth, all them, back on that side, because, I need my line to have some people that ain't never been to church before. I need some nasty, some, take money out the collection plate type of guys, and I just think that, we got to finally get
you sounded like Dion. You need them from a one-parent, single-parent household. Hungry.
Man, yeah. So, but yeah, I
definitely think they're gonna keep McCray around long enough for him to. I definitely think he's one of those guys. Like, if you're an offensive lineman and you have a question about anything Campen wants or needs you to do, I think he's one of those guys you go to.
Yeah,
I mean, the way I look at it, man, everyone likes to use that term nasty. Now, I feel like it's levels to it, but I also feel like it's a downside to it too. Because I feel like if you always say this guy's playing nasty or playing dirty, part of me feels like, okay, that tells me he can't really block. He's trying to get you off your game because that's the only way he's going to have some success. Now, and I get both sides of it, but that makes me feel like, okay, you must got some sorry hand placement or no good technique, to get that dirty or that nastiness. Because usually most of the time when you see like a guy that, we proclaim, like everybody has that one offensive lineman that's nasty, but do he got that dog in him? You know what I mean? Like he got to be that alpha male. Like the guys lately that I've seen, I don't see that alpha male in them. Like you want to say nasty, but I was just like, okay, I don't see it. Like, because on a one-on-one individual, they getting ate up, but when they get like a shade protection or they get a double team block, then yeah, I can see the nastiness come out on it. I
think that has to do with the quality of linemen that we're getting now, anyway, because our linemen are having to be so athletic to run the offenses that we're running in today's football, and to match up with the hybrid. I mean, shoot, we got defensive tackles now. Running 4.4s, 4.5s.
I mean, it's just to me, it's a transition in general for trenches players in this era of football. Like, think about it. You coming from college to the pros, like you were running a tempo style offense, no huddle offense. Now you go to a huddle offense for nearly, let's just say 90% of the game. Let's just say the last 2 minutes of the first half, and if you're down at the end of the fourth quarter with, let's say, 4 minutes to go, so majority of the time you're doing a huddle, then you'll start seeing that more tempo pace that you were used to for the years you were in college. So it's a big transition. But but like you said, yeah, these guys got to be athletic as hell, because it's, to me, in my opinion, the days of that 350-pound D tackle, I really think those days are over. Like, you won't see that.
The time of the lineman being Bobby Ray that grew up on mama's farm and ate everything on the farm, and
like
they just made him play football because he was big. It's not them days no more.
No, you got to have some footwork now. So, but yeah,
well, I think it also depends on your blocking scheme as well, because you got gap blocking and you got zone blocking. So with the introduction of inside outside zone,
just getting away,
RPO game, all of us step left, all of us step right. That's where that athleticism come in. But you still got those plays where you got that old school gap man blocking where it's man on man, one-on-one. When you're saying you don't see a lot of guys that got the technique and nasty. I mean, first guy to come to my mind is Perennial Poe, Quentin Nelson up in Indianapolis. He plays with nasty, with technique. Elgin Jenkins out of Green Bay, Mr. Flexibility. He can play all 5 spots. He has it. He has that in him as well. Ragnow, the center at for Detroit. You know what I'm saying? He has it. So, like I said, as a guy that studies the trenches, it's out there if you really study and watching the film. Now, is it out there in mass? You got to pick and choose your spots. But
I think it's easier to ask somebody to zone block, because zone blocking is just pretty much getting away.
Yeah, you get into a spot.
Yeah,
and whoever is in that gap, that's who you move. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, like if you do the pull and pin blocking scheme, you know what I'm saying, that has a difference as well. You know what I'm saying? So if you're uncovered, you're pulling. You know what I'm saying? But if you're covered, you're blocking them down. So, like I say, I think it just has a lot more to depend on what kind of scheme, that you're going to use as far as like the type of blocks and blocking execution that you need to see. So you need to have a mix of both, because at the end of the day, if it's 3rd and 1, on the 4-yard line, and you need to convert this first to, to run out the clock, you don't get fancy. You line up. You remember them set that 7-man sled at training camp.
Yeah.
And you move this MF off the spot. You know what I'm saying? That's when it gets old school. That's that 90s.
Hey, we line up. We coming forward. What you gonna do? That's
that Dallas Cowboy line of the 90s. That's what I'm talking about right there.
So I took some tape of Kalijah Cansey, right? So this is him. This is what they want to display is his hands. So this is like we say, the new defensive lineman, right? That's in the mode of an Aaron Donald like. So they're going to be the smaller. So this is what offensive linemen are basically gearing up to try to block guys like this, these smaller guys, or you got your bigger edge guys, but they're still mixing in. Like, I think the Cansey, the Aaron Donald, more of these guys are going to start to pop in the league. So
but I think it too. I do think it depends on the scheme they're in and what they have around them. I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. Aaron Donald is a great prime example, but I think one thing that everybody overlooks in his time there, like if you look at that D line that was with him all the way up until because look how long Robert Woods, Chris Long, and I can't think of the other dude that played with him.
you're talking about Brockers.
Yeah, him. Look at how long and what, because he said because Aaron Donald credits what's the button? Dude, I just said his name, out of North Carolina, the defensive end.
Robert Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn. Aaron Donald credits Quinn for him learning how to use his hands and like that dip technique he used. He said he learned that from Chris Long. Like, but like I said, he just took that and perfected his game. But like you said, the way the game is going now, that's gonna be your prototype. So it's like I said, I don't expect like I said, I know you showcasing Kansas. I mean, him being a rookie, a rookie D lineman, I don't really expect much out of them that first year because it's just such a learning curve. Like, the first 12 games, they're just gonna be an odd at my point, because they just used to playing maybe 12 games, 13 at the most. So when they hit game 15, 16, I think that's when the game completely slows down. They'll be like, okay, I can do this, but you always expect year two, they just boom, if they're in the right system and they coached up well, year two, they just take off. Prime example, Mario Williams. Look how he did his first year, and then from year two all the way to year 9, how dominant and consistent he was. Like, but then again, that was a different era because he was a big end, but dude had hella hands though.
Right.
And I think the rookie you was just showing that it came out of Pitt. When you play beside Vita Vea, you're gonna get a lot of one-on-one opportunities that you're gonna win, because ain't nobody. I don't care how good your interior offensive line is. I don't see nobody successfully, consistently going to block Vita Vea one-on-one. I just do not see that. Here's the reason why I said a guy like Brady Christensen is not ready whatsoever when you play guard. You know what I'm saying? You can't be lighting the ass and playing interior offensive line. It's just not gonna work, because you got guys like that will eat you, like literally eat you. Like your manhood will be taken from you in front of thousands of people repeatedly. So I think he's got a real opportunity to make a good, strong impact his rookie year. I know you say you're not expecting much, but I think he's in a good opportunity playing beside a vet like that that's going to really provide him with some opportunities.
I think his speed, his technique, and his hands are going to give him some good opportunities. He's going to cause trouble if he gets some one-on-one opportunities.
Yeah. I think he'll be one of those guys that will have a bigger impact than his stats may say. Like, he might not be a big sack guy or big tackle guy, but I think he'll be moments where he's creating penetration and maybe just not making a play.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I mean, he's an undersized tackle, but they, like in Tampa's case, obviously they run a hybrid 3-4. So I'm just like, okay, you really can take this man and move him to a 5 technique. I mean, yeah, he's quick, but I always say you go against a solid tackle, if they just get their hands on you, it's a done deal with speed, because all they gonna do is, if I get my hands on you, ain't going nowhere. But if you try to speed rush him, all he gonna have to do is just push you out that lane, and that'll throw you off. So it's like I said, it's just, I don't know. I mean, maybe the nickel packaging, he's gonna look pretty good, but I mean, they put him inside next to Villa. I mean, I think that's definitely gonna be a plus. And like you said, that he can make an impact, even though the stats will not be telling to that. Like, I mean, he could just, if he could set the edge or maintain his gap on run plays and make it go the other way, that's a win in my book. If he can do that consistently, and then just third down, you could just, you can force the quarterback to throw it or put him off his mark. That's a win in my book. Now, I'm not saying Mike Smith's sacks are overrated, because that joker said that shit twice. He said it in Atlanta and Tampa, basically.
He framed it the wrong way. What are you saying? That
I get what he was saying, but
sacks are in everything. You have to be able to affect the quarterback. You have to be able to force incompletions. You have to be able to force turnovers and sacks. Just getting off the field is what he was trying to say. It wasn't all about sacks, which just on the surface, it sounds crazy.
Yeah,
right. And then you was talking about, your hybrid 3-4. It depends. Are you gonna run a traditional 2-gap style with your D lineman, or are you gonna run the 1-gap?
Because I know here determined they're from my understanding, they they're gonna change up a whole different approach. So I mean, but the way I looked at it, with them addressing the trenches in the first 3 picks, I feel like they just want to get a deep rotation on the D line, because it's just like You know, everybody. It's like everybody in the league has a deep rotation in the D line except us. You know, finally we're getting that. So, you know, that's one way I'm looking at it. So
I mean, the team right above you ain't had that deep of a rotation either.
No, he said now, meaning today. Yeah, we have a rotation. I'm not sure as how effective they're going to be, right? You know how they're going to produce, but we do have a rotation of players that we can put out there to where everybody's not tired, to where we're not just running Grady Jarrett out there 80-90% of the plays saying please make a play, right? So at least he'll have some type of help.
Yeah, ideally, you like your D-line rotation with your starters getting about 60% and your rotation getting about, about 40%. That would be ideal. You want your starters feeling fresh in that fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? We was just having to talk about that in the our little 4-man rush chat box, but that's why you like to see 7-8 linemen active on your defense on game day. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, just because you're not starting don't mean you're not going to be able to impact the game. And like you were saying, I look at more like tackles for loss. Did he, on a double team, did he sustain his gap integrity? You know what I'm saying? When he penetrated, did he throw off the blocking scheme? Did he knock down that wham block from the tight end coming on the backside to get the DN? You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Like when I watch line play, like I said, sacks is probably the last thing that I'm looking for as far as like evaluating the effectiveness of D-line play. So for me, it's so much more that's not going to show up on the stat sheet that affects the game more than just the average casual fan or look at a stat sheet. Oh, you only had 2 tackles and for the game, but at the same time, he could have pressured the quarterback off the spot. You know what I'm saying? That forced the sack by the DN, or he could have knocked off that pulling guard that caused the linebacker to shoot the gap to get that 1-yard tackle for loss on 3rd and 2. You know what I'm saying? So, that's if you watch the trenches, that's how you're supposed to evaluate it way beyond just a stat sheet.
Big facts. And while we're on Tampa, right? So
did I tell you a lie, Shajay?
About what?
Kev.
Oh no, man! I love it, bro. I love it. We know the trench talk specialist, right? This is the trench talk specialist right here. That's what we're getting some good. I mean, when is the last time you heard about the 1 gap, 2 gap being spoke about? And we people really don't get that deep into it. Like I said, I needed 4-man rush. I owe you some visibility. I owe you some looks. So I got to read up on you guys. But I love the conversation, bro. I love it.
Hey, real quick, while you on that,
yeah,
as good as I am, but my boy, the one that put me on getting in detail, if you want to follow him, it's 4MR_smooth, SMOOVE. Okay. He would be my guru that I go to. You know what I'm saying? So, he the one that taught me about how linemen with lower leg injuries, don't always return back to form. He was the one that just put me on to so much technique. One of his cousins is a scout for the New York Jets. I mean, he was the first one that told us Frankie Louvu was going to be a dog when we signed him. People like, who's Frankie Louvu? You know what I'm saying? And then now, 2 years later, everybody know who Frankie Louvu is. You know what I'm saying? So he's a guy that's my trench warfare partner. So I want to make sure I shouted him out as well. So definitely check us out.
Gotcha.
Yeah, did you see that post? I forgot what Panther fan was posting it, comparing Frankie Louvu's numbers to the All-Pro linebackers from last year.
Bruh, crazy, man.
Louvu pop, bro. I'm not much. I didn't know much about Louvu prior to last season. I think he popped for me watching the Saints game. He really wrecked that game in the first half to where I think he caused the turnover. Did he cause the fumble for Kamara? But he made some impact plays the first half of the Saints game, and I was like, okay, this guy is a player. So, but with what's interesting for me with Carolina, it's the switching to the 3-4. So with players, having to switch roles now, right? Are they going to be as effective? You know, do you got your Luvus, right? Can Luvu still be effective? But then you have your safety Jeremy Chin, who people would like for him what he looks like in the 3-4. He can go back to the position that he played as a rookie, right? So do you think that can kind of move the swing the pendulum on some players a little left and a little right, or do you still feel like your defense can be as effective or better?
Me personally,
go ahead, man.
I feel like it helps some guys and it hurts some guys. Now, Frankie, I don't know exactly what they're gonna do with Frankie. Are you gonna turn him into the outside pass rushing linebacker? Are you gonna leave him inside? So him, I don't know. YGM, I feel like it hurts. But some of the tweener guys that we have, like a Marquise Haynes and Amari Barno, some of them, I think it helps them get on the field a little bit more than they were before. I mean, because the little bit we saw of Amari Barno, he looked good. He looked like, and I didn't understand why he wasn't getting more playing time. So like I said, YGM, I wanted him to be good. I was a fan when we drafted him. I think this kind of bumps him down, because you're not even that athletic as a DN. I damn sure don't think you're gonna be that athletic as a 3-4 pass rushing outside linebacker. So that might get his minutes up out of there. And like I said, I have to see what they're gonna do with Frankie, but I think it helps Jeremy Chin most of all, because now you're not just playing safety. Now you can go back to being wherever we need you to be, making plays wherever at on the field.
As far as me with Frankie, I think now, because with the base defense, teams on average only running about 20% of their defensive snaps. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about 1 out of 5 plays. Now, so in a base, I like Frankie at the inside linebacker, and I like Jeremy Chin back at strong safety. Now, the question is, who will be the other safety with him? Is it going to be Von Bell that we brought in, or is it going to be Xavier Woods that was with us last year? I think that'll be the key, because I see a front of Shy Tuttle, Dare Brown, and
Burns,
Williams at the 3 down line position. Then I see Burns. My guy Mario Haynes, I actually interviewed him last week. Me and Big Smooth, we had about a 45-minute interview with Marquise Haynes. He's giving us some insight. Saying so. He was my outside linebacker. Oh yeah, by the way, he said coaches and players laugh at these PFF grades. He's like, the grades that they get from coaches is totally so far gone. So they like when he had a run defense grade of a 37 for the year last year, like he about fell out laughing, bro. It was just like hilarious. So
was it off in the wrong direction? Did he get a higher grade from the coaches?
Yeah, definitely, because he's and they just say just the players in general. They say the coaching staff and the players get a chuckle because they say the grades that the coaches get are real significant. I used the example, like one game Luke Kuechly had 25 tackles, 3 tackles for losses, and he only got a grade of like a 69 from PFF. Like, what the bro? So and Marquise just bust out laughing when I brought it up. He's like, yeah, man, we like they got some good metrics, but their grading system is is so far off. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, cool. So everything else outside the grade and take take with a grain of salt. But yeah, I just think that Jeremy Chin is going to shine as a big nickel for us. When we go to the nickel sub packages. When we go dime, because Evero like to use 6 defensive backs, they've already said Jeremy Chin will be the dime linebacker. So, using him like a chess piece, I think that's where he'll be at, since 80% of the snaps are going to be in sub packages anyway.
Got it. Hey, man, Joe, man, let me know how you feel about Baker Mayfield. Me personally, moving on to the Buccaneers. But no, me personally, I'm not trying to be. I'm being straight up honest here. I feel like Baker Mayfield, a revival is coming. I feel like he looks rejuvenated, like he is ready. This is his opportunity. The pressure is lowered, right? The expectations are not that high, and I feel like his back is against the wall with this, and he has receivers there that can make plays. Running backs, you know, it can be better, but Rashad White he's a young player that showed promise last year. So he can have a breakout season. Uh Cotton, right? The tight end, Cotton is he made a lot of plays against us. So I'm saying that there are players there for Baker to be successful, and could this be the spot for him? How you feel about that?
It's okay. I'm on the fence with that, and I get where you coming from with that. I just feel like at this point we know what Baker is. Now, in my opinion, in order for him to have a revival and to be successful, we can't go out there and ask him to, hey, you can't win the game for us. Let the players around you do the work for you. If you can do that, I think he can be successful. You, like you said, you got a nice 1-2 punch at receiver. Tight end, I don't think he gets enough credit because he was young last year. I mean last year they were comparing him to saying he was a baby grunt, but I think if he grows into it and they develop him more, I think he could be solid.
Yeah, I see a lot of Cameron Brate in him. He's a good possession guy. He catches the ball well. He has a big body. So
the biggest knock on Cameron Brate, he couldn't block. He was just he just could not run block. That was the biggest knock on him. I mean, as far like I said with Baker and possibly. I mean, now I do feel like they bought him in. I mean, I can't even believe I'm fixing my mouth to say this. He's probably going to be the week 1 starter, even though I would prefer to see. I can't even say I'm saying this neither because I can't stand the Gators. The other boy, number 2. I'm not gonna say his name. Just Florida. It's like this. Let me give you, like I said, let's just say, is it a better upside if the other guy starts and they win 6 to 9 games? That looks good and you can build upon it. Now, flip that around. You put Baker in that same situation. They win between 6 and 9. Are you going to say they can build on that, or that's just Baker? That's going to be the biggest question. But I also feel like if
I think one difference will be if Baker wins 6, 7, 8 games. I think they'll give him a second chance. I think if Trask does that, or Trask, does around that, I think you would still be looking for a new quarterback in the draft. That was the biggest fear with Panther fans last year, is that we didn't want Baker to be middle of the road to where they might extend him for another year, even though that wasn't the best thing for us. And that was a lot of people's fear Panther-wise last year. And luckily, he just did bad enough to where he didn't make it through the whole year.
Exactly.
I mean, this is my thing. I know Baker knows this is maybe one of his last shots at being a starter. So I get it. He's going to be motivated and wants to play well. I mean, if he comes out and plays well, don't turn the ball over or anything, I mean, I'm cool with that. Like, I mean, he's on the Bucs, so I'm going to be behind him. Whoever's under center week 1, I'm going to be behind them 100%. Now, if he plays trash, I'm definitely going to call out. Nobody is excluded from me saying they played like shit. Excuse my language. I don't know if y'all allowed to cuss, but
man, this is
18
and this is an 18 and up live broadcast.
Okay, well.
Oh, okay, cool.
I mean, like I said, if you have, people still were mad at me because I was giving Brady the business last year.
As he deserved.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. So it's kind of, honestly, like I said, Baker can be a revival, but Baker was signed to sell tickets still. That was one thing. But I also feel like this too, on the flip side, bringing Baker in, that goes back to my question. You wasted a pick on taking Kyle Trask at 2, is what I I stand by that because that 2020
Kyle Trask wasn't even the backup last year, right? Technically, Blaine Gabbert was.
He did put it like this. He didn't even make the dress. He did not dress one game for 2 years until week 8, the 17th game last year. That was his first time dressing. Wow. Now, mind you, he could not beat out Blaine Gabbert to be the backup. Now, I get it that BA was the head
politics there too.
Yeah,
I mean, Brady is politics.
Because BA was infatuated with Blaine Gabbert.
Nah, but you can't even say Brady because remember when Brady retired last off season for them, what was it, 40 days? Mm-hmm. Arians was saying I see Gabbert coming into next year as a starter over Trask.
I mean, he's just infatuated, but I'm like, okay, but you spent a second round pick on Trask. That's got to hold some weight. But I felt like in that draft alone, you should have been retooled. Like if you would that 2021 draft, if you would have been retooling the trenches right then and there, go with instead of Joe Tryon, go with Christian Barrymore, second round, get an outside edge rusher. If you would have did that in the first 2 picks, we may not would have been sitting what we did the last year with Logan Hall in this year. You probably may be sitting better. Maybe, but I mean, who can say? Only time will tell. I mean,
and to answer Aries' question in the chat, well, not question, but his statement. If Baker somehow won a division, I don't think they would be looking for a new quarterback.
I mean, I think so as well because
that if they
Baker, I think you wouldn't have to pay him top dollar if you want him. You can probably, if he won a division, you can probably extend him right on a Geno Smith type of contract if he does well. So I think that's his ceiling is a Geno Smith type of arc, as in coming back and establishing himself as a credible quarterback.
I can see that, but like I said, like when you look at Geno contract, it's really just 1 year. So I don't know if the Bucs would do that. They may give him 2 or 3 years, thinking, oh, we can roll with him for a couple more years.
I will give him slight security. That's what they did with Geno. They gave him slight security, but
Daniel Jones.
they're gonna make you prove it 2 years, right? So I would do that with Baker. Like it's essentially a 1 year deal that we could possibly stretch out to 3 if you ball, right? So you don't want to be on the hook.
Somehow Aries just because I believe the Bucs is finishing in last. But I mean, I literally was on the game chat with RTP yesterday, and he thinks it's business as usual in Tampa.
What?
As he's always thought that, bro. Like every single year, I mean, no matter who they got, I can be quarterback in the Bucs, and
I mean, but I guess
RTP will find a way to say how I will ball.
I think everybody in the division, I think, has the case of if things went perfectly their way, that how they can win the division.
I mean, the division. Let's not get it twisted. The division is wide open. I still believe that. Now, everybody obviously don't. Everybody obviously think we're gonna fall because Brady's no longer there. I'm like, okay,
not just because of that.
I mean, my thing is this. This is more of a, I'd say, transitional year, but I don't have a very high ceiling, but I have a low floor. Like, I mean, if you like considering with this schedule, we get 6 to 8 wins. That's impressive. You get 6 to 8 wins off that schedule.
I mean, y'all have the lowest floor out of everybody in this.
Wait, I'm sorry, what was that? I didn't hear you.
I think to me, y'all have the lowest floor out of everybody in this.
Oh yeah, I mean, I get that. Yeah,
I mean, I could definitely see y'all in the Drake Mays. I mean, the Caleb Williams Drake Mays.
We can, but I mean, when you look, like I said, when you look at their schedule, the back half of it is not bad as what you really think it is when you look at it. The only thing is, like, I don't think we'll be in position to get the number 1 overall pick because it's still 4 teams that I consider that are worse than us, and maybe we can steal a game or 2 and still. I mean, sometimes I feel like
looking at the teams that drafted at the top of the draft this year, we picked number 1, but we technically wasn't the number 1 team.
Yeah,
the Texans, I could see them being a little bit better. The Colts, I mean, I could
Arizona.
I could see the Colts being first or second in their division, and that's just me.
There's a lot riding on Anthony Richardson.
I
We're
don't.
gonna have to come up to
You
speed
said
pretty
first and
quick.
second in the AFC South. I don't. Jacksonville
even if they had to start Gardner Minshew.
I mean, he's.
I think we underestimating how a fully healthy Jonathan Taylor makes that team look different.
They got to rebuild their O line and with the Colts.
They got to plug that O line up, and I think get another receiver. And the Colts probably be okay, but I
mean, they got what? Pittman. They got the white boy that they drafted last year. And
out of Cincinnati, they got the kid out of Cincinnati that played with Desmond Ridder. But he was kind of
Alec Pierce.
Yeah, he was kind of disappointing last year. Yeah,
and they took Josh Downs from UNC this year. Wow,
true. Yeah, him and Anthony Richardson are working together.
Go Heels, but yeah,
But
I think what's missing.
You got to remember, whatever he want to call himself now, Shaquille was out a lot last year.
Who?
Darius Leonard. You know, he calling himself Shaquille now.
Oh yeah.
Didn't he have back surgery? Like they had to go back in and redo something.
Mm-hmm.
He was on IR for the remainder of the year. So I mean, but like I said, I just see Jacksonville just running away with that very easily. Like I don't see it. But could somebody come in and do it? Yeah. But I mean, back to the topic. I mean, yeah, Baker could have a revival. It's just they haven't even said they're gonna announce who's gonna be the starter. They say it's too early,
Right.
And I get like they're just starting OTAs because right now everybody's in position battles. Everybody's equal across the board. It's a new system for everything. So, of course, the team is gonna look different, but this is gonna be done the way Todd wants to do it. Like he got his staff that he wants in there. The way he want to run things and do what he wants, without any outside influences, I mean, I felt like last year you kind of saw the difference with the team with BA stepping. Brady got rid of BA. You saw a difference because, I mean, I can only imagine what BA would have been saying all last year, the way Brady played. He would have put it out there and just said it. BA just the old white man that like to talk. I mean, I'm like, yeah, you keep it a buck, but dang, sometimes, bro, you don't need to say nothing. But
so where would you rank Todd Bowles at as far as coaches in the NFC South?
He ain't had, but considering his coach's record, right now, I mean, you look at all the coaches, they all on the same level to me, really. I mean, they all were successful as coordinators where they're at, but as head coaches, even playing field, like I can't really say one stand out more than the other one right now. I mean, but if you look at it from a coordinator standpoint, okay, he's been successful. He won a Super Bowl. He's always had a top defense. Then you look at Frank Wright in Carolina. He was known for being the OC, even though he didn't call the plays in Philly. But when he got to Indy, he looked pretty solid. Had a strong running game, and I mean, he thought he could fix Carson Wentz, but I mean, the stats were more telling than what it was. I mean, he could have threw more picks than what he's shown, but I heard it was more of a locker room issue than anything when they got rid of him. So, I mean, but also you got to think too, why in Indy that was that more of Irsay say so or his say so. So, I think if ownership stays out and they just let them coach, then I think you'll be successful. Then you go to Atlanta, Arthur Smith, Arthur Blank is going to let him have plenty enough time. Sometimes he let coaches stay longer than they should, but but he's, I mean, this is year 3. Can he, the expectations has risen, you got pieces in place. You made some splash signings and had a good draft. So, obviously expectations are going to be here. And, New Orleans, I'm be honest with you, I ain't sold on Dennis Allen. I'm just be honest. Like,
that's why I said they all about near the same, man.
This is my thing. How you like, okay, yeah, you signed Derek Carr, but look what he did under you in Oakland. Like, I don't
fired.
No, and then think about this. To me, Derek Carr, okay, yeah, okay, you're NFL quarterback, But what stands out to me is 4th and goal when he just threw the ball away on 4th and goal. That's all he's ever gonna be to me. I forgot who they were playing. It was 4th and goal. He didn't even try to force the ball to make a play. He just threw it away. I was just like, wow.
This is what I said about Andy Dalton yesterday. I mean, not Andy Dalton. Derek Carr is the new Andy Dalton. He is the line of average, above average, and below average to me. I think Derek Carr is a new line. I think Dennis Allen is solidly in last as coach in the NFC South.
Solidly. He finished strong last year now. We got to give him some credit. He did.
He's never had a season where he didn't have double-digit losses.
He saved his job. Last year, he was 7-9.
Yes, he did. 7-10.
It went
7-10. My bad. It's 17-game season. My bad.
7-10. So last year was his best record actually of his career. He did his last year in the Raiders with Derek Carr as his rookie quarterback. He went 0-4. The year before that, he went 4-12, and the year before that, he went 4-12.
Didn't he get fired in the middle of the season?
He got fired. He got fired last year. 5 of Derek Carr's rookie year.
Derek Carr, yep.
I mean, because like I said, people try to give Bowles a bad thing when he was with the Jets. I'm like, dude, you got Woody Johnson as the owner. Come on, bro. I mean, what you expect? I mean, this man went 10-6 with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then they paid him, and then you had an aging Brandon Marshall like on the back, like he had one good year, and then he just lost it after that. He was never the same. So I mean, I think if you give him a fair shot, he can probably get it going. I mean, now Tampa, yeah, they've had their share of black coaches, but I also felt like too, if you give them enough time, because people give me grief because I said if Lovey would have got 4 years, I think he would have had Tampa going in the right direction. I mean, believe it or not, look how he did.
I agree with that. I think if you would have gave, because Lovey, I think Lovey addressed one of the sides of the ball when he was there, right? He took all offense or all defense.
He got rid of the contracts that needed to be gone, but nobody wants to admit that. They want to say he came in and set the organization back. And I'm like, dude, how did he set them back when they were already terrible when he got there? I mean, yeah, you lost 2 less games the next year. I mean, you lost 2 more games more than the prior year. You went from 4-12 to 2-14, then jumped to 6-10, but you was in contention in a wild card spot the last 4 weeks of the season, but you lost 4 straight on the basis of you didn't have no running game. You had no defense. I mean, he took over the defense with what he had, and they played okay. I mean, it was just
this like Jameis rookie season.
Yeah, Jameis rookie.
Okay.
That's what it was, because I said, okay, you let him have an all offensive draft, Jameis year. I think if you would have let him draft the defense the next year, he would have been straight.
Now the biggest, because like I said, when you look at go back and look at some of the draft picks, it's like, okay, 2014, nobody paying. I mean, you saw potential with the first 3 picks: Evans, Austin Jenkins, and Charles Sims. You saw potential, but it didn't pan out. 2015, that's obvious. 2016, 20. Oh, well, I'm getting more into the GM.
Because Jameis draft, it was what? Jameis, Donovan Smith,
Ali Marpet, Quan Alexander, some fullback. I mean,
that's a hit
right there.
But you missed. Even though he was gone after that, you missed on the entire draft the next 2 to 3 years, possibly.
Yeah.
2016, you missed on that entire draft.
Yeah.
I just got to ask you, man. I just got to ask you. Hold on.
He took all offense. I think if you would have let him come back that next year and took all defensive draft, I think y'all would have been straight.
Yeah.
What the hell happened with OJ Howard? That's what I want to ask you.
He couldn't stay healthy. He had all that potential. He couldn't stay healthy. I mean, he had the potential, but he'll show flashes, but he just, after his second year, I'm tired of hearing about he got the potential to be great. I'm like, you can't even play a full 16 games.
The way they talked about OJ Howard sort of reminds me of how they talking about the boy from Georgia now.
Who? You talking about
Darnell?
Mm-hmm.
OJ Howard had a more productive college career than that.
But Tampa drafted 2 big tight ends that were true tight ends and could run and didn't know how to utilize them. like I said, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, he showed flashes when he was on the field.
He had that game in his lifetime. When was that? When y'all played the Saints week 1, I think.
Seferian-Jenkins was a knucklehead, bro. He was just a knucklehead.
He made some plays his second year.
Yeah, I remember it was one game he had where y'all played the Saints week 1.
That was going crazy. James' rookie year because he went off that game. It was week 2. Matter of fact, the first 2 games of James' rookie year, he went off. Because he had like back-to-back 100-yard games, and then he just got thumped in his shoulder, and he wasn't right. The injury bug killed him too, but he was a knucklehead, you know. So I'll say that. But you just got to do more due diligence with these players. Like, hey, what are they really like? What's upstairs, you know? But I mean, like you said, back to your question, OJ injury bug, because people forget Brady was starting to develop with him before he went out in the 2020 season. Brady was starting to like him, because I think if Brady would have really picked up with him before he got hurt, I believe Cameron Brate would have been bye-bye. You had a $20 million tight end room with Gronk, OJ, and Cameron Brate. That was $20 million amongst them 3.
Right.
It's too much
I
money.
was wondering because I didn't know if y'all noticed in the draft, Green Bay did a double dip at tight end that I freaking love, man. They got Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft, and I just was like, that reminded me of the year the Patriots did Aaron Hernandez and Gronk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and my daughter, who lives in California, she's a diehard Packers fan. I don't know how that came to be, but it's how it chose to be. And I just like, that's going to set Jordan Love up nice, because he already got 2 horses in the stable at running back, and Jones and the big boy, I think it's Dylan or whatever.
Yeah,
and
Dylan and Jones.
Yeah, and then they got Watson at wide receiver and a couple other cats like.
They still gonna be trash though. Don't worry about it.
It sounds like that team. This team sounds like they're trying to build like the team that's about to take over the NFC South. Looks like they're trying to build.
Oh God, wasn't you just hating on Green Bay last week?
No. They're trying to build. That don't mean they have the same caliber players. Yeah, they're building. They're building in the image of the Atlanta Falcons.
Hey, the joke I got is Green Bay is y'all about to see what Green Bay look like when the quarterback listens to the plays the coach actually calls. Y'all know Aaron Rodgers was just changing that stuff up.
Oh yeah,
all the time.
Do y'all think Matt LaFleur is do you think LaFleur's job on the line this year?
Nah.
Not this year, but next year.
Nah, not this year.
I think regression is expected there. Regression is expected. They're not expected to be.
I mean, but look
how Jonathan Smith was nasty like forever ago, not recently. But go ahead.
I mean, they got room to make noise as a wild card. I mean, because I think Detroit probably gonna be favored in that division. Because I mean, I just got to see what kind of jump Justin Fields gonna make. Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is going to be Kirk Cousins. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so games at 1:00.
Why do y'all do Kirk Cousins like that? If I
he
showed you Kirk Cousins,
ain't nobody touching him. If
I showed y'all Kirk Cousins numbers and covered up the name, y'all be like, "Oh, that's a damn good quarterback."
Bro, I mean, you have to watch Kirk Cousins to get the full experience of a Kirk Cousins ride, because watching that Bills game last year, which was probably one of the best football games of the entire season. Just watching that, some of the throws he would make to the other team is like nobody was there. Sometimes he just throws the ball up like he gives me he has like an Eli Manning streak in him. Like, I'm gonna chuck and throw.
Eli said he's going in the Hall of Fame.
I'm gonna close my eyes and throw. I get that out of Kurt sometimes, but he is a more consistent quarterback than people give him credit for. Right, last year
Justin Jefferson and Diaz give us the games.
I mean,
I've done that test more than once. If I showed you Kirk Cousins numbers and covered up that it was Kirk Cousins, you'd be like, damn, that's a pretty good quarterback.
I mean, he put up the numbers. I'm not going to take that away from him. Me as a Tampa fan, we're the reason he got paid. Because think about his first comeback. You like that? That was against us, and we were dragging their ass. They came back. We was up 24-0. They came back and beat us 31-20. What was it, 31-30. I mean, it was just like, damn.
24-0.
Hey, shout out to Kirk Cousins' agent, because if y'all look at how much guaranteed
Man,
money he done
That
got,
dude get guaranteed.
Right.
Guaranteed.
Bruh.
That's what I be trying to get my agent to be.
Look, at my year
Hey, you
review
heard
of my
nobody
job, that's who I
complain about
want
it
representing me. You know what I'm saying?
There's
told
two
them all,
genius
go get him.
agents in the league right now. One is Kirk Cousins' agent. The other is
What's the dude?
damn,
With
why
black hair?
name
You
slipped my
talking
mind.
dude?
Deshaun Watson agent.
Her. What about
Yeah.
the other dude? The one
Dave
that
Muguleta.
what's the other dude? The one that can't think his name. The one with the slick black hair. He was TO agent.
Not Drew Rosenhaus.
Yeah, him.
I said Drew Rosenhaus.
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
I mean, but you don't know really everybody get paid under him. I mean,
he still got clients, but he's just not as in the front of the cameras anymore.
yeah.
You know.
But Deshaun agent is who I was talking about.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he had Casey Hayward before we cut him. He has AJ Terrell and he brought in Jesse Bates. So he really had 3 DBs in one organization. Like this guy he's breaking banks. Jalen Ramsey is another client of his with Deshaun Watson. So yeah, that dude is
This will
making
sound
bank.
funny, but I want to know the agent of Nathan Peterman, because anybody that throws 6 interceptions and a half and still can get contracts with other teams, bruh. Come on, man.
I got to throw another one in there. Case Keenum. No, not Case Keenum. What was that dude?
Chase Daniels.
Yeah, that's it. That's who I
Chase
want to know
Daniels.
who his agent
That
is.
dude, he been eating
Chase
money.
Daniels got a lot of money.
And never
Right.
Even Flynn agent got him some money too.
Yeah, and then Russell Wilson came and took his job right after he got paid.
Mm-hmm.
He got paid to go to Seattle, and then he got his job too.
I'm gonna tell you somebody, an underrated wide receiver that's never hit the market, but always put up 1,000-yard seasons because he always gets traded all the time. Yeah, Brandon Cooks. He's been traded 5 times. You know, he's never tested free agency. He's never secured the bag, but he's constantly putting up 1,000-yard seasons no matter where he goes.
I heard he's
That's crazy.
Locker room. I heard he's a locker room issue, like he's a counselor in the locker room.
Oh, I ain't hear that part.
I don't know about that, but if I'm on bad teams, I need my 1,000.
Yeah.
Better throw
Man,
me.
had so many goddamn concussions. Shit, he done had concussions about. I know he had a good year last year, but he's been injury prone, even with his days back in New Orleans. You really forget that he was back in New Orleans, tearing stuff up, pulling it out, pulling the arrow out. You know,
the only reason why I remember is because when we used to beat them around that time, Josh Norman used to shoot the arrow back out.
But this thing though, how you get traded to New England? You get traded from New England to the LA Rams. Like you went from good organization to good organization. That's not telling to you guys. I mean, that gotta mean something. Like
the flip side of that, if I'm Brandon Cooks, I'm gonna say, well, every team want me because they know I produce.
Yeah, Belichick.
Now you just got yourself back in Dallas. Now you just got yourself in Dallas.
You're just getting passed around at this point. But fellas, let me get this one last question in before we get out of here for tonight, so we can wrap this thing up. It's regarding Desmond Ridder, right? So as you guys will know, this is not a pro Desmond Ridder channel, right? I got questions for Desmond Ridder as a quarterback, right? I am not a Desmond Ridder hater. I just need to be proven wrong. I just need to be proven wrong in my skepticism of what Desmond Ridder can do. So just my question to you guys, like, is the mid-tier Desmond Ridder ceiling? Do you think like that, when I know me and Joe, we talk about it a lot. Me and Big Boss, we talk about it a lot. So is, Dak Prescott or, or something like that, is that his ceiling or his comp? Like, what should we be expecting from Desmond Ridder as far as a ceiling wise?
I mean, I feel like your question is the perfect statement. Mid-tier is Desmond Ridder.
Did I frame them?
I mean, we don't. I mean, I can't really say. I mean, I can't really. Okay, when you should have pulled. Now, this is my thing. The question you have to ask yourself first: when Atlanta finally pulled the plug on Mariota, is it because you were eliminated from the playoffs? Because I mean, you should have pulled.
No.
Do you feel like Mariota gave you the best chance to win? I mean, folks were saying you should have pulled Mariota after that Thursday night game when he threw that shot put.
Against
But
the Carolina Panthers, he was
yeah,
on the ground throwing the ball.
I was like, what the hell? But I mean, but I can't really.
That was Mariota, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Mariota. Yeah.
I'm saying,
That's he should have been benched at that moment.
yeah,
right?
that's
He said I'm the same guy that scored a touchdown in the playoff game by throwing the ball to myself. So y'all know who I am.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was.
I mean, but to say he's a mid tier, I can't. I mean, I guess that's his ceiling right now. I mean, but it is yet I can't really say that much because I can't really say it sum up 4 games. I mean, I went and like when I saw them play at the end of the year. I mean, I saw some good things. He could make throws and stuff. So I mean, I see potential there, but what can happen once they once the season go and you get film on you like early in the year, like how is he like say he comes out and plays solid the first 4 games. Okay, now you got a month worth of tape. Teams gonna look at that and figure out your tendencies. So it's gonna be interesting to see. So, but I mean, I agree with you. Your statement is the best answer right now. Unless now if he does better, I'll be the first one to admit I'm wrong. I'll say that about any player.
Me too.
I think part of it's not just Desmond Ritter, even though I want it to be all on him while he'll end up being mid. I think part of it is I don't think Arthur Smith is doing a lot to help a quarterback get better or look better or to progress. I think he's kind of cool with my running game being the main piece, and we can have pretty much whoever at quarterback.
I kind of disagree with you a little bit there. Reason why, because look, they got two legit weapons at tight end, and in Atlanta with.
I mean, but that's what the Titans did. That's part of we can have an average quarterback because we have a tight end. Just check it down to the tight end if we needed to.
I mean, but the Titans they had Tannehill. All he had to do was go in there and turn around and end the ball off and don't turn it over.
That's what Arthur Smith liked.
I mean, you could be solid with that. I mean, Tannehill got another $100 million contract off doing that.
I mean, the difference is it's like with the Niners quarterbacks. You can hand it off and run the gimmicky stuff and run the cute stuff all day, but then there's still going to come a point in every game where you have 2 to 5 throws that you have to make for y'all to win a game, and some of the quarterbacks in San Francisco have been able to make them and some haven't.
I think
that's sort of the same thing with Atlanta.
I think it's more of a scheme because Shanahan, I do think he schemed up things pretty solid to make the comfortable throws. Too. I mean, yeah, you got Debo and what's the other guy? Number 1, Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle.
That's all guys that you can just put the ball in their hands. You don't gotta be.
I mean, I think
that's the offense that Arthur Smith, would like to run as well. That's the question about Arthur Smith, that his pass game lacks creativity. Excuse me. So he is not running, pass game, route schemes that are, have guys running wide open like Kyle Shanahan does, right? So it's more of, when you are double tight ends, right? And the percentages that he plays with a fullback, right? Keith Smith, right?
You're going to load up the box.
He's going to load up the box. So the wide receiver, so they're not practicing. They're not doing much like route combinations wise. So especially with how much we're running the ball 51% of the time, right? So they are, and then running out of those formations, you're really limiting yourself as in the combinations and the way that you can attack downfield. So you need those bigger guys like Kyle Pitts or Drake London, right? Who has shown Drake London, who was questionable creating separation coming out of college has shown that he has a high success win rate in the NFL in creating separation. So Arthur Smith needs those type of guys, but it's never going to be Kyle Shanahan like where 2016 guys were running wide open, Taylor Gabriel, Julio Jones, Levine Toilolo. That's a blast from the past. That guy was running wide open, catching touchdowns in Tampa, in Seattle. So he was very effective, but that's Kyle Shanahan, man. I don't really think you can compare anybody to Kyle right now. I mean, he hasn't won the big one, but he's always damn competitive with what he got. So, yep.
Hey, you saw what he did with Brock against us. He took us Mr. Irrelevant and made him look like an all pro. So,
Right.
But I always say that about the Shanahan offense is that it makes an average quarterback look better than what they are, but it'll never make a good quarterback great.
I mean, when you be honest, when you look at Brady's Hall of Fame career, outside that year with Randy Moss,
that's an exception. That don't count. And 2011 don't count because Brady to me is a game manager. 2011, when the rules changed, when you couldn't touch the receiver and couldn't touch the quarterback, I had to question some of the stats that just became inflated because I mean, be honest with you, 4,000 yards is not even impressive. I mean, if you just average 250, you're gonna break it. I mean, I get 5,000.
All right, broken down. It's actually 235 because we've only had two 4,000-yard seasons in our history. One was Cam in 2011 and Steve Berline back in 1999. So
didn't Cam break 4,000 in his MVP year too?
Nah.
Yeah,
he was like 38. He was like 3,800 yards that year.
Okay.
He won it because he had 45 total touchdowns and we damn near went undefeated.
And a defense, they gave him 32 turnovers. So he had a lot of short fields. So a lot of times he wasn't able to so much put up those, stat stuffer type games, but still was highly effective, that particular year.
Yeah, because everybody, like I said, everybody always give me grief with James with his turnovers, but I'm just like, he was in 2 turnover prone offenses. Like, I mean, that's the question I always get. And I'm just like,
Bruce Arians, if you always look, any quarterback in their first season with Bruce Arians, their turnovers are higher than the year before.
Average 23 interceptions the first year.
He liked to push it down the field a lot.
Yeah, 2 outdated offenses. I mean, that was Jameis' whole 5 years in Tampa was an outdated offense. But like I said, what people fail to realize that 2019 season, defense blew 5 games. Because you take away the 5 and plus the kicker, but it's easy to blame the quarterback. So, I mean, you take away Jameis still could have threw 30 interceptions, but they could have easily finished 11-5. If it wasn't for those 4 games, the defense and the kicker blew the game. And you had a lead. That's what gets me. And what they don't really like to talk about, the interceptions at the end of the game, if they just scored to take the lead back and he throw a pick at the end of the game, what you expect? I mean, you can't get mad at him for that. Defense should have did their job. I mean, but that's like I said, that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, everybody always just asks me about that. I'm just like, okay, it's 3 years gone. Obviously, people still want him to come back, but I'm just like, okay, that ship is sailed.
Right. You on mute? Sean, you're muted.
You on mute.
You
on mute, Sean.
Hey, appreciate you guys, man, for pulling up on me tonight, joining the show. Love the football talk, the insight, the trenches, big bucks. Man, I've been trying to get you to do this for a long time, bro. So we're gonna all do this. Hopefully, you guys can come back. We're gonna all do this again. Networking. Holla at me if you want me on your channel. You guys can come back anytime. So, hey, man, good stuff tonight, fellas.
Definitely appreciate you.
It was fun. Thanks.
All right, man. All right, everyone, man. We out, man. It's your boy Sean J representing the Atlanta Falcons, man. T Money, Big Bucks, Mr. Kev, Country Kev. Let them know.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Y'all be blessed.
All right, we out.